Let's be honest for a second. How many times have you stared at your PS5 dashboard, thumb hovering over your controller thinking, what should I play next? Yeah, me too. It's like standing in front of a fully loaded buffet and somehow feeling like you've got nothing to eat. Well, fear not, fellow pixel warriors, thumbstick gladiators, and accidental button mashers, because today we're diving headfirst into the 30 best PS5 games of all freaking time. And no, I'm not talking about just good games. I'm talking chef's kiss, stay up until 4 a.m. and regret nothing kind of masterpieces. Games that hit you right in the feels or make your jaw drop just by walking into a new area. Games that have you muttering, just one more mission. 6 hours into your quick session, we've got everything from high-flying superhero showdowns and cinematic Norse drama to brain-melting puzzle loops and sword-swinging samurai sagas. Some of these are PS5 exclusives flexing that next-gen muscle, while others are cross-platform beasts that just feel better on the DualSense. And hey, don't worry if you haven't played them all. That's what we're here for, to shine a light on the legends, the fan favorites, and the underrated bangers you might have scrolled right past. So grab your favorite snacks, silence those group chats, and clear some hard drive space, because your PS5 backlog is about to grow big time. Let's jump in. The newest direction for the Yakuza series, you play Ichiban Kasuga, a likable underdog with a giant fist instead of the usual protagonist. The PS5 version runs at 60 frames per second at 4K. The series' familiar open city side content remains, gorgeous world with many mini-games, but combat shifts to turn-based RPG battles. GameSpot notes it as the most experimental entry in the franchise, praising Kasuga's charm and the new battle system. The game balances wacky humor with heartfelt storytelling. With tons of side stories and activities, karaoke, cooking, etc. It offers both an incredible main story and addictive post-game content. A modern Prince of Persia platformer with Metroidvania style. Set on the mysterious Mount Quaff, it combines precise combat with deep exploration. You play the prince on a quest through varied biomes, library, catacombs, etc., solving puzzles and fighting guardians. Critics praised its thoughtful design. GameSpot calls it a new leader in Metroidvanias. Its parry and counter combat is tight yet accessible, with multiple difficulty options, and subtle visual cues guide exploration. Fans loved how the series reboot feels both faithful and fresh, with fluid movement, wall running, spin, and rewarding secrets. An open-world entry in the Monster Hunter series. You roam a seamless wilderness, hunting giant creatures and crafting gear. Unlike previous MH games, the village, where you prepare hunts, is integrated into the same world, allowing instant transitions to hunting grounds. GameSpot notes, the core loop of hunting and crafting remains engaging and now improved by this open-world design. With hundreds of hours of gameplay, co-op multiplayer hunts, and a strategic ecosystem, monster behaviors, weather effects, Wilds was a fan hit. Its blend of solo and cooperative play makes it a standout action RPG. The latest annual baseball sim, widely regarded as the premier MLB franchise. It simulates Major League Baseball with realistic graphics and controls. This edition revamped career modes like Road to the Show and tweaked franchise features. GameSpot calls the show a premier annual sports franchise, noting the improved progression systems and robust storylines mode, including Negro League's tribute. It's top-notch for baseball fans, deep rosters, official teams, stats, and online leagues. Even sports skeptics praise its polish and the authentic feel of batting, pitching, and fielding on next-gen hardware. An innovative genre-blending action game inspired by Japanese folklore. You play as a heroine exorcising demons in feudal Japan. Uniquely, you balance hack-and-slash combat with tower defense-style tactic. You rebuild villages behind you and set traps while fighting forward. GameSpot highlights its inventive blend of intense demon slaying and strategic building. This fresh mix makes it unexpectedly addictive, as players juggle purging enemies and placing defensive structures simultaneously. Its fast, rewarding combat and the novelty of its gameplay loop earned it praise as a hidden gem on PS5. Realistic medieval RPG set in 15th century Europe. You play a knight in Bohemia, immersed in a historically detailed world. Combat is sword and shield, and dialogue is non-voiced like an old-school CRPG. This sequel builds on its predecessor's attention to realism. GameSpot writes it's an absorbing RPG that immerses you in medieval life, praising the vast open-ended quests and detailed skill system. Players appreciate its tough yet rewarding sword fights and historically rich story. It stands out for deep immersion and freedom. You could spend dozens of hours mastering archery or forging alliances, making it a niche but critically liked title. A compilation of the 3 modern Hitman games, focusing on Agent 47's global assassination mission. It's a sandbox stealth series where nearly everything is a weapon or disguise. Critics call it one of the most inventive stealth action series, highlighting the endless creativity in how you carry out hits. GameSpot notes, Hitman 3, the finale, offers a dizzying number of ways to tackle objectives, thanks to brilliant level design. Between the trilogy and the new freelancer mode, players get massive replay value. You can replay missions with different gadgets and approaches, or try infinite randomized contracts. The second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. It leaves Midgar for a vast open world and follows Cloud and party on a globe-trotting adventure. Rebirth expands the story and world substantially. GameSpot notes that while it loses some focus, it polishes combat and introduces new characters and side activities. It also debuts Queen's Blood, a collectible card game. Its highlights include gorgeous graphics, emotional narrative beats, and satisfying fights. Rebirth deepens the saga's lore and keeps players hooked for more. A high-octane action game, stylish hack and slash, where you control demon hunters Dante, Nero, and newcomer V. The special edition is a PS5 enhanced port. It adds ray tracing, 120 FPS mode, and the Virgil DLC. The core game is beloved for its tight combat and crazy combos. GameSpot notes the PS5 upgrades major visual improvement and praises the extra Virgil campaign and turbo mode. This entry is often called the pinnacle of the series' combat, and its fast-paced action and boss fights keep players returning. A supernatural third-person action game starring Jessie Faden as she explores the shifting, mysterious Federal Bureau of Control headquarters. The Ultimate Edition, PS5/PS4, bundles all DLC. It's praised for its tight shooting mechanics and mind-bending story about reality warping phenomena. GameSpot notes it is visually even more impressive on PS5, with 60 FPS mode, and highlights its thought-provoking narrative and state-of-the-art tech. Players love the fun powers like telekinesis and compact level design. The game's replayability comes from hidden secrets and challenging run modes, earning it a spot on many best-of lists. A unique puzzle adventure with roguelike elements. You explore an eerie mansion room by room, crafting and connecting floor plans to find a hidden chamber. It was developed solo over many years and dubbed brain-breaking by fans. Critics applaud its thoughtful design and atmosphere. Wikipedia notes it is a puzzle adventure game with roguelike elements that received critical acclaim, even becoming the highest-rated game of early 2025. Each run through the mansion introduces new surprises and permanent upgrades, making every playthrough engaging for puzzle fans. An action-adventure set in feudal Japan with two playable protagonists. You control Naoe, a stealthy female ninja, and Yasuke, a heavily armed samurai, through a beautiful, dynamic open world. This entry nails its setting and combat. The dual protagonist system really works, giving you varied playstyles and mission approaches. TechRadar hailed it as a massive success with satisfying stealth and exploration. Its fast-paced ninja action, fluid traversal, and vast maps, complete with changing seasons, make it a fan favorite. A charming 3D platformer built specifically for PS5. You guide Astro, the little robot, through inventive levels using DualSense controls, motion aiming, haptic feedback, etc. It coincided with PlayStation's 30th anniversary and was named 2024's best reviewed game. Critics loved its creativity. Team Asobi squeezes technical wonder out of the PS5 in every level. Astrobot's tight controls, hidden collectibles, and clever level design, reminiscent of Mario games, won it Game of the Year in many polls. It's lighthearted, endlessly replayable, and full of surprises. A sprawling party-based RPG in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. You create a character infected with a mind flayer tadpole and explore a massive fantasy world with fellow adventurers. Praised as a masterpiece RPG, it offers unprecedented player choice. Dialogue, combat, and story all hinge on your decisions. GameSpot calls it Larian's masterpiece with an epic narrative and tactical depth. It features both turn-based and real-time combat modes, a huge cast of companions, and dozens of endings. Its rich storytelling, character customization, and near-limitless freedom make it one of PS5's most lauded RPGs. A stylish first-person action shooter with a time loop twist. You play Assassin Colt, stuck reliving the same day. To escape, you must eliminate 8 targets before midnight, but each death resets the loop. Arcane, makers of Dishonored, blends gunplay with supernatural powers and detective work. Critics praised its clever premise and level design. TechRadar calls Arcane's new IP typically a cause for celebration. Each cycle rewards new clues and experiments, giving high replay value. The game's fresh mechanics and the need to plan creative kills make it feel innovative. a survival horror sequel starring writer Alan Wake in dual realities, a dark nightmare dimension in the real world. Players switch between Wake and FBI agent Saga Anderson as they uncover ritualistic murders. Alan Wake 2 won praise for its creative, meta-driven story, tense atmosphere, and high visual fidelity. GameSpot hailed it as boldly produced and visually striking, noting its inventive thriller narrative. Its strong combat mechanics, cinematic scares, and replayable alternate endings make it a standout PS5 exclusive. A dark fantasy action RPG and continuation of the storied Diablo series. You choose a class like Sorcerer, Barbarian, or Druid and roam an open-world fighting demons. Though initially rocky, post-launch patches and the Vessel of Hatred expansion greatly improved it. GameSpot notes that even the base Diablo 4 was well crafted, and its expansion adds a lengthy new story chapter with an all-new class. Its deep loot system, seasonal content, and multiplayer co-op keep the community engaged. The game is top tier for ARPG fans thanks to its slick combat and evolving endgame. An open-world action RPG co-created with George R.R. Martin. You play the Tarnished, exploring a vast fantasy realm to repair the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord. Renowned for its freedom and challenge, Elden Ring was 2022's runaway hit and GameSpot's Game of the Year. Critics praise its sprawling world and deep lore. GameSpot called it the runaway hit of 2022, with rich, sometimes shocking storytelling. Its tight combat and layering of secrets and progression, even when overpowered, keep players coming back for more. Developed by From Software, creators of Dark Souls, it set a new standard for RPG scope and player agency. A full remake of the classic FF7, 1997, rebuilt for PS5 with improved graphics and smooth 60 FPS mode. You again play as Cloud Strife and allies in the steampunk city of Midgar, battling Shinra Corp. It blends real-time action with strategic commands. GameSpot gave it 10 out of 10, calling its combat exhilarating and strategic with charming character. The PS5 version adds a new episode featuring fan-favorite Ninja Yuffie. This definitive edition is praised for epic storytelling and cinematic presentation, making it a must-play JRPG. An open-world samurai adventure set during Japan's first Mongol invasion. You play Jin Sakai, who becomes the ghost to liberate Tsushima. The PS5 upgrade, included in Director's Cut, delivers 60 frames per second, 4K, and enhanced textures. Critics love its stunning landscapes and fluid combat. GameSpot says the world is lush and expressive, and that the Director's Cut is even more stunning. It also adds a new Iki Island story expansion and a co-op multiplayer mode. The game is praised for its cinematic swordplay and cinematic direction, including a novel Kurosawa mode filter, making it a PS5 showcase. The sequel to 2018's God of War, continuing Kratos' Norse saga. It picks up from the previous cliffhanger and wraps up the apocalyptic storyline. The game refines the original's tight combat and adds new RPG elements, crafting, skill trees, new weapons. It's visually stunning on PS5, 4K/60 FPS option, and expands the rich story of Kratos and son Atreus. GameSpot notes the sequel is just as visually outstanding as God of War and refines an already stellar combat system. Critics praised its emotional writing and improved gameplay. Together, these titles form a perfect duology on PS5. A realistic driving simulator and PS5 launch title. It features 4K/60 FPS support and a huge car roster, approximately 400 vehicles. It's essentially a car lover's dream. Detailed driving physics, hundreds of tracks, and deep customization. GameSpot calls it the best racing game on PlayStation 5, noting its top-notch car handling and extensive single-player modes. The 2022 release was hailed as a return to form for the series. Its realism, dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and breadth of content make it highly replayable for racing fans. A vast open-world action RPG and sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. You control Aloy as she ventures to the western United States to save the world from a new threat. The PS5 version Pro Enhanced is a visual triumph. GameSpot notes it's arguably the most beautiful open-world game ever, and brimming with content. Combat mixes stealth and action as Aloy hunts towering robotic dinosaurs. The game is praised for gorgeous environments, a compelling storyline, and a wealth of side quests. Smooth animations and near-endless activities make it a system seller. A cinematic superhero action adventure where Spider-Man Peter Parker and Miles Morales team up in a vast, detailed New York City. You zip around Manhattan at high speed, switching seamlessly between heroes with unique powers. Critics call it a technical showcase, squeezing the full potential out of the PS5, and Insomniac's most ambitious outing yet. Highlights include incredibly fluid 60 frames per second traversal, a huge open world full of activities, and a story featuring classic villains. Reviewers praise its combat depth, character animations, and thrill. One wrote that the game improves on its predecessor across the board, with an unforgettable narrative and spectacle. With dense side missions and photo-worthy graphics, it's a must-play superhero game. A colorful action platformer, and one of the first true next-gen PS5 exclusives. You play the Lombax Ratchet and Robot Clank as they chase a villain through torn-apart dimensional rifts, meeting a new hero, Rivet. The game is famous for its instant loading dimension jumps, showcasing the PS5 SSD, and dazzling graphics. GameSpot praised how, with gorgeous visuals, immersive DualSense functionality, it was one of the first games that felt truly next-gen. Its fast-paced shooting, clever gadgets, and lighthearted story make it instantly enjoyable. This family-friendly adventure is packed with replay value through challenge arenas and abundant collectibles. A full remake of the acclaimed 2005 horror action classic. You control Leon Kennedy on a mission in rural Spain, fighting a cult and horrifying creatures. The remake stays true to the original's tense atmosphere and gameplay, but with completely modern visuals and controls. GameSpot notes that Capcom pulled off the feat with aplomb, delivering a game that is both recognizable and fresh. It reinvents some segments, more AI and cinematic drama, while preserving the survival horror feel. Its polished shooting mechanics, updated puzzles, and graphical fidelity make it accessible to newcomers and satisfying for series veterans. A challenging sci-fi roguelite shooter exclusive to PS5. You play Celine, an astronaut trapped on a hostile alien planet that resets every time she dies. Each run you delve deeper, acquiring new weapons and uncovering story clues. It's fast-paced with bullet hell action. Housemarque's arcade roots shine through. Reviewers note shortcuts and little tidbits of exposition make even failed runs feel worthwhile, and that the story about Celine's plight adds depth. Returnal's crisp DualSense haptics, plus procedural environments, give it high replayability. It's celebrated for its adrenaline gameplay loop and unique narrative structure among PS5 titles. The latest entry in the legendary fighting game series. It features a large roster of veteran and new fighters, a refined combo system, and multiple modes, including a story-driven world tour. Critics say it offers the most flexible, versatile, and expressive combat scene in the series, making it accessible to newcomers while satisfying veterans. World Tour lets you create a custom avatar to learn moves from masters, adding RPG-like element. The game's gorgeous 3D animation and robust online features, like rollback netcode, have made it the best-received Street Fighter in years. With its balance of depth and approachability, it's a top fighting game on PS5. A JRPG from the creator of Persona. It's a fantasy adventure featuring turn-based battles and a cast of colorful characters on a quest that explores the power of storytelling. Its style is reminiscent of Persona. You even recruit a talking book. Critics lauded its narrative depth. GameSpot notes the game is an affecting meditation on the power of storytelling, and that it earned a perfect 10 out of 10. The combat is layered, class unlocks, and the world is rich. Fans have praised it for strong writing, solid gameplay mechanics, and its heart, making it one of the highest-rated new JRPGs on PS5. And that's the end of our epic quest, folks. 30 legendary titles, one mighty list, and probably a few games you just added to your digital shopping cart, or your ever-growing "I'll play this eventually" pile. We've all got one. Don't lie. Now, if you made it all the way to the end, first off, respect. You're clearly someone who knows that gaming isn't just a hobby, it's a full-blown lifestyle. And let's be real, the PS5 has delivered some absolute bangers these last few years. Whether you're slicing through gods, swinging across Manhattan, or getting emotionally wrecked by pixelated storytelling, there's something magical about this generation. So now I gotta ask, which game on this list is your all-time favorite? Did we nail it? Miss one you love? Or did I just ruin your weekend plans by giving you 10 more games to try? If so, you're welcome. If you had fun, hit that like button like it owes you XP, and don't forget to subscribe for more lists, breakdowns, and hidden gems that'll keep your PlayStation library looking stacked. Until next time, keep your saves backed up, your controller charged, and never trust a tutorial boss fight. You know they're lying. Catch you in the next one. Catch.